Welcome to our webinar on how to use social media to attract customers to grow your business. I am Paola Yuspa, President of Top of Mind Public Relations. We are here today to share some tips and best practices to boost your social media power, to grow your relationships with current, past, and future customers. Our firm handles public relations, social media, digital marketing for shopping centers and business owners, small, mid-size, and we often see how they struggle with social media. We hope this webinar will make a difference in your social media strategy moving forward and produce good results. We all need good results at this moment. Following the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A feature on the bottom of the screen to send us questions. We'll get to them, promise. Without further ado, let me introduce you to my colleague, Courtney Moberly, who heads our digital media team. She's the expert. Courtney, the floor is yours.
Hi, Paola. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I'm so excited to get us started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can all see the presentation. Okay, so basically today we're going to be going over tips and tricks on how you can use social media to attract customers. So the most important thing is, first of all, to look at why are we doing social media and what are our goals. We want to increase engagement, educate and inform our audience, and create awareness. So you're going to increase engagement by creating content that relates to your followers and, most importantly, your target audience. And that you're going to do that by providing content that gives value and a reason for them to return to your page to see more. A great way of increasing your engagement is to do contests or giveaways that drive interest and attention to your page through reposts, comments, and shares. You also want to educate and inform your potential customers as well as your existing customers and more about your products and services. And that kind of goes hand in hand with creating awareness, whether it's a new product or promotion, any achievements that your business has had, or community involvement and media coverage. You want to make sure that everyone is informed about what you're doing. So, like I mentioned, very important to define your target audience. Why is that? This is a really effective way that small businesses can remain competitive with larger companies, and that's by targeting a specific niche. This allows you to focus your resources and your marketing budget, as well as your messaging, on a specific market that is more likely to buy from you. So how do you find this target audience? What you're going to want to do is go ahead and take a look at your current customers. Try to find trends and things that they have in common with each other, and then analyze your competition. Don't only look at, though, who they're currently targeting. Look at people who they may be overlooking and not capitalizing on. Then take a look at your product and your services that you offer. What are the benefits of those products and services, and the benefits of those benefits? This will allow you to take a look at people who have needs, who could benefit from the benefits that your product and service is providing. Then you want to narrow it down based off of demographic and psychographic information. So we have some examples over here in the chart, but things that are also included would be things like education level, family status, ethnicity, their hobbies, what their interests are. So take a look and try to narrow all of those things down, including the ones that are listed. Once you've gone through all of these steps and you have a target audience, it's important to take a step back and make sure that your target audience makes sense. Are these really people who can afford your product, who will be motivated to buy your product? Did you maybe go too far and your audience is too narrow? This is something that you can be constantly evaluating to make sure that you're effectively targeting the right audience. So that brings us to the benefits of each platform. And before I go in depth on the different benefits of Facebook, Instagram, all of those, I do want to highlight how important it is that you are putting money behind your posts. So this is commonly known as boosting or creating an ad for promotion of your posts. A lot of times now, especially Facebook, but all of the platforms will prioritize people who are spending money in order to place their posts higher in people's feeds. If you are relying solely on organic reach, so just hoping that the people who follow you are going to see your posts, that's not effective anymore. It's important that you're allocating anywhere from $50 to $500, whatever fits in your budget, per month to boost your posts, which will allow you to target them to the target audience that we spent the time going through earlier. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with Facebook. So with Facebook, this is probably the one most people are familiar with, and it has the most broad audience. This is going to reach everyone from families and friends in the community, customers that are already familiar with your business, as well as your potential customers. And the biggest benefit that Facebook provides is their large network of groups. So they have groups for everything from local communities to interests. And these provide a discussion forum where you can share your content that you've created from your business page. You can create unique content or just engage with other people's posts and kind of keep you in touch with your community and your potential target audience. We've also included some content tips on each of these slides. So for Facebook, you're looking at strong visuals with shorter messaging and letting the visuals tell your story and pull attention to your posts in the feed. Next, we're going to go over Instagram. So Instagram is very consumer driven. And if you're running a business focused page, like most of you will be, it's important to keep in mind that you want to have personal interest items. So that's going to be things like customers enjoying your product, user generated content, which is posts that your customers have taken and then tagged you in of them, you know, maybe taking a photo of their food like we have here. That kind of post will engage your audience. They'll appreciate feeling seen, and it will foster that personal connection. One of the main benefits of Instagram is utilizing the hashtags. So you can follow hashtags on Instagram, and you're looking for hashtags that are in line with your business. So that can be anything from location to, if you're running a food company, you're going to be looking at like Insta food or food hashtags that are in line with what you're serving. And by following those hashtags, you're not only going to get great ideas about what to post and what everyone's interested in, but you're also going to use them when posting, which will drive traffic to your posts as well. The content tips for Instagram are, of course, very, very compelling visuals. So Instagram is completely visual. You want to have well-lit photos, things that tell a story. And you can also use Instagram stories, so the posts that go on your feed for just 24 hours, and to share day-to-day interactions with customers or your branding, and also utilizing Instagram Live. Next, we have LinkedIn. So we're going to touch on both personal LinkedIn pages and business pages. So for personal LinkedIn pages, that's mostly going to be to have those business and professional connections, such as with your employees and your colleagues, or people from other companies in your industry or your community. And the focus there is going to be on growing those connections. So you can go to other local businesses' pages, relevant local pages, see who's following them, and reach out to them and connect and grow your network. For businesses that are B2B or targeting business people in particular, this is a great place to invest your time and have a business page. You can repost the business page content on your personal LinkedIn page. That way you're increasing the exposure and the reach to that group of connections that you spent a lot of time growing. On LinkedIn, you're looking at content that is, of course, business related. So third-party articles, any advice or achievements from your business, and workplace updates. Then lastly, we're going to be going over Twitter. So Twitter is probably the most broad of all of them, and it does require constant engagement. You need to be on top of what's trending, what people are talking about now, and capitalize on those moments using hashtags and current events. So on Twitter, much like its audience, the content that works best is very broad. Everything from news articles to brand-specific humor, like I mentioned, following what's trending now, even posting photos, polls, live tweets. All of that is a good fit for Twitter, but it may not necessarily be a good fit for your business. It's worth looking into if it's worth the time investment that it takes to be successful, and also analyzing if your market responds well to Twitter. So you're probably thinking, okay, this is all great. Thank you for giving me the overview, but how do I make the magic happen? How do you make content that is compelling and drives people to want to engage with your page? So first, we're going to go over an overview of the monthly schedule for posting. So monthly, you want to be looking at upcoming events, awards, and holidays that you can be capitalizing to drive engagement. And when we talk about holidays, we're not just talking about Mother's Day and Christmas, things like that. You also want to look at national days like National Ice Cream Day, National Pizza Day, National Get Outside Day. There's a national day for almost everything, and people love that kind of content and engage with it on their own as well. You can also look at seasons. So like back to school season could be something that you capitalize on, or even specifically like fall or winter. And on a monthly basis, you also want to be looking ahead and planning any giveaways or special events so that you can plan your posts accordingly. Then weekly, you want to be staying in touch with hashtags, what's trending, and keeping an eye on if there's anything that you can jump in on and insert yourself in the conversation. That provides a great platform for curated content. And also planning your week's posts in advance. Then daily, you'll write the content that highlights your business's niche, monitor that content for engagement, respond back to people who are commenting to you, make sure that you're tracking those interactions, and most importantly, seeing what works best for your audience. So keep an eye on what posts perform best, what time of day that they're performing best, and use that information moving forward to make your social media even more effective. So with more tips on how to create content, you want to share an experience. So besides only showing your product or service, find ideas on how to creatively show your customers and employees enjoying your workplace. That can be anything from local influencers using your products and services, or just customers who stop in, taking a photo of them with their permission, of course, or following other industry related accounts and following and reposting things that are relevant to you. And also creating moments. So you may not always have, content to post, but you can always show interactions with your employees or customers, attend virtual industry related events and post about those. And of course, keeping an eye on the trends that are relevant and posting about those as well. Very important, make sure you have permission to take photos and videos of your customers. Just verbally ask them before doing so and let them know what would be going on your social media channels. Again, also want to reinforce how important it is to understand your audience. So not everything is going to be a good fit for everyone. You need to really understand your audience, what they're looking for and what they respond to. And that does require some research and quite a bit of time. So some great tips for creating compelling visuals for Instagram is using an editor. So if you take a photo, it takes just a few minutes to either use the native editor in Instagram or download an app like VSCO or Lightroom, and brighten the photos, add contrast. A little bit of editing really goes a long way. You also want to use templates. Sometimes maybe you don't necessarily have a layout for a story, or you're not sure what looks good. Canva provides great resources. It's a free tool, and it's all drag and drop, very easy to navigate, and it can provide really compelling visuals as well. If you realize that you forgot to take a photo of an event, or maybe an article that you share doesn't have a photo, you can always take a look at high quality stock images. There's usually some that are available for free, but there's also some that are available for purchase for a very small fee, and they can be used again and again. And then that will allow you to have a nice visual with your post. For Facebook and LinkedIn, one of the most engaging things that you can do is end your post with a question. It kind of prompts people to want to respond, and then comment back with them when your connections reach out to you, and make sure you're keeping up that level of engagement. So we've also included here some ideas, kind of an outline of how to run a social media giveaway and contest, because we really believe that that's a good way to drive traffic to your page. So first things first, you're going to want to determine what your business's goal is. Are you trying to increase brand awareness, generate leads, or maybe a combination of those things? Using that information, you can decide what the best form of entry would be for your contest. So are you going to make them follow your page and like the post, or maybe comment on the post and tag a friend, and kind of determine what would best fit your goal. You don't want to overwhelm people and require too many steps, because that will discourage them from entering. Also consider what type of contest that you want to run. So if you want to maybe increase your page following, ask people to follow your page and like your post to enter. Or if you want to maybe grow your reach, you can partner with another business that's in your area or even in your same shopping plaza. You can also partner with related businesses that are maybe close to you but not in the same place. So if you are a donut shop, maybe, you know, every month the local company down the road will send their employee of the month to you for a free donut. And that's just bringing people in the door, and it provides really engaging contests that people would want to win. There's a lot of different types of these that you can choose from. It's all going to depend on what your audience is and what your goals are. So make sure that you're constantly keeping them in mind when you're planning these things. So we've also included some fun ideas for giveaways and contests. You can do raffles or limited time offers, such as deals like 10% off and discounts. You can offer gift cards as a form of a giveaway, or even bundle items like you can see in the example we have here on the slide. Another great idea is to partner up, as we touched on, with companies or local influencers. So we have an example here, South Florida bloggers. Team up with them and maybe run a cross-promotional campaign. So you're both putting something into the giveaway and both posting about it on your channels. That way you can capitalize on both audiences, and maybe you both get new customers out of it. The thing with giveaways and contests is you can really be creative and fun with this, thinking outside of the box. So some ideas that we put together are looking at this example from Cali Coffee. Host a special event like a sticker day. Everybody who comes through gets a free sticker with their purchase. It's a small incentive that really drives people to want to come into your business. Or even a best photo or comment competition. Ask people to caption your latest photo or recreate a photo that you've posted. You can also do play to win games. So post like a Where's Waldo type photo, and the first 20 correct answers get a free something or a discount on their next purchase. And you can also do a weekly or monthly draw. and this is one of my favorite ideas, you know, asking them to post a picture of themselves enjoying your product, and that enters them to win something at the end of the month. So this is really a good opportunity to flex your creativity muscles, and do anything that you think that your target audience will resonate with. So a useful trick that we use is scheduling your content in advance. It can totally be hard to keep up with, you know, all of the upcoming events or holidays. And there's plenty of free platforms out there, like Buffer and Later and Hootsuite, that you can use to schedule posts in advance, so that you don't lose track of them. And they all have these really great visual outlines of all of your posts. That way you can make sure that they make sense together and have a cohesive brand vision. We've also taken the time to kind of compile some accounts to follow. So like we said, it's important to keep an eye on what other people are doing, see what content you can repost. And of course, this is going to vary based off of what your business is and what industries you're serving. But some great examples are going to be local pages, so city pages, like City of Miami. We also have Palm Beach here, or Doral. They'll post current events and things that are going on in the city, and sometimes they'll post about local businesses as well. We have some more examples of cities here. And then also, again, we're looking at local influencers, so food blogs, people who are blogging about the area, as well as things like Visit Fort Lauderdale, who post really nice visuals of the city that you can repost. It gives them great exposure and gives you great exposure as well. Here's some more examples of some blogs that are great to follow. They have a really high follower count, and partnering with them for a promotion, or even inviting them in for you know, a discounted item or something for free in exchange for some exposure, can be a really great way to partner together to increase reach. And then lastly, we have micro influencers. So these are going to be people, their followings aren't necessarily as big, but still sizable, and they will resonate with a particular community that you may be looking to target. So that's it for the presentation. We tried to kind of go through everything quickly and just give you an overview. But I think that that's it for me, Paula.
Awesome, Courtney. Thank you so much. You were amazing. I always learn something when I listen to your presentations. So I have a couple questions that panelists have sent us. The first question is, well, you know, first I want to remind you all that we have the Q&A feature on the bottom of the page. Feel free to send us questions and Courtney will answer. So what analytical tools do you recommend I use to find my target audience and monitor how my posts are doing?
So a lot of the platforms, all of the platforms, have really nice built-in analytical tools that will allow you to see on Facebook its insights, as well as on Instagram, and then LinkedIn has it as well. And you can see a lot of really interesting statistics on how your posts are doing. On LinkedIn, you can even see where the people are from that are viewing your posts and following you. So keeping an eye on those insights and statistics are really important to the continued success of your account. And that kind of goes in with what we were saying about monitoring what works. If you're using something like Hootsuite, or another posting tool is eClincher, they also will have built-in analytical tools. So it's kind of just finding what works best for you, but the built-in ones are a good place to start.
I always make that mistake. So I don't have much time or a team member to focus on social media. What kind of a strategy can I implement to make this work?
That's a great question. So definitely the first thing that you want to do is kind of centralize your social media approach. So maybe one person is in charge of just capturing content as it happens. That wouldn't be, their only job there, but as they see moments happening, they can be responsible for taking a photo. And then that's also where, someone like us, Top of Mind, would come in, because we handle social media accounts for a lot of companies, and, either sending us content that we then post for them. That way it's not taking your time. If that's not an option for you, definitely planning ahead is the best thing that you can do, and scheduling all your posts ahead of time.
Another very good question. How do I know? Oh, it's moving really. We have so many questions. They're escaping. How do I know which contest or form entry would be most effective toward getting people interested in my business?
So again, that's going to depend on what you're trying to do. So you want to look at your target audience, see who they are and how they're engaging on social media. That kind of goes in with their interests and hobbies when you're looking at their psychographic information. So see what their patterns are. And then based off of that, you also want to look at what your goals are for the contest. So let's say you want to increase your followers on Facebook. You're going to want to make that the whole point of the contest. So in order to enter, they would have to follow the page and like your post. That will drive more people to your page and encourage new people to follow your page in order to be entered to win. And then, you can tailor that depending on what else you want to do.
Next question. How do I find these local influencers, companies? What would be the best strategy or way to approach them?
So you want to look at who is using hashtags and speaking to the audience that you're going after. So if you see that your target audience is mostly, let's say, new mothers between the age of 29 and 40, you want to look and see which influencers are reaching and resonating with that audience. Then you would reach out to them, and you send them a message and say, hey, like, I noticed that you like to do this. Well, we offer this as a product or service, and we'd love to have you come in and try it out for free. Do you think that that's something you'd be interested in? We'd love to talk about a collaboration. And just taking that first step to reach out to them is always a good thing, but also make sure that you're engaging with their content, so they'll know that you're being earnest and sincere. If you're someone who's liking their posts, who's commenting and engaging with them, and that way it'll kind of increase your presence in their mind as well.
And you earlier mentioned the community groups, the neighborhood groups on Facebook. So try to look for groups that are tied somehow to what you offer, the service you offer. If it is like, mom implantation, they have a group, or moms, new moms in Broward, try to join that group so you can see not only what they're talking about, but you can also, talk about your product, let them know that, or you can connect with the administrator of that group and say, hey, can we do something together where we can do a contest with your moms? The 3 moms who answer this question, they get free ice cream for a week or something, Okay, we have another question, Sal. Can you connect all these platforms to each other?
Definitely. So, the goal is to have a very cohesive social media strategy, and they can all work together in a really cool way. So the stuff that you're using to post on Instagram should certainly be cross-posted with your Facebook and your Twitter and your LinkedIn. You just want to tailor that content to what works best on each platform. So sometimes that'll just mean resizing the photo that you used, or adjusting the way that you approach the caption, and using all of them together to have a very robust social strategy.
Okay, somebody is asking if there is any specific budget they should use for boosting, or how do you determine the budget?
So it's going to be what works best for you, case by case basis, but you want to be using an absolute minimum of $50 a month to boost your posts. And what you're going to do with that is allocate it to either boosting posts, so putting money behind an actual post that you've put on the feed, or running ads. And those ads can have different goals, such as driving traffic to your website or increasing your follower count. And that puts your company in front of your target audience. How does it do that? Because you have targeting parameters that you set when you're going through the process of boosting or creating an ad. You can target based off of age, gender, and interests. So all of those Facebook pages that people like, you can target them based off of those things, even their education level, things that they've listed as hobbies. So it's a really effective tool for getting your information in front of the people who it needs to be in front of.
How do I create successful hashtags?
So you can, use hashtags that are working, use hashtags that other people are already engaging on. So like I mentioned in the presentation, that can be anything from, hashtag South Florida, or even, hashtag foodie, things that are relevant to your industry and your business, and then use those hashtags on your post. And then creating your own hashtag would be more if you're doing a contest or a giveaway and you want to be able to track those engagements. You would ask them to hashtag something in particular. You just want it to be short and something that can be remembered and that hasn't necessarily been used before. So if you really want to be able to track those engagements, don't do hashtag foodie, because it's going to be clogged with a bunch of other posts.
Okay, Alejandro is asking, an influencer has to do only with his or her number of followers?
Not necessarily. So that's how we categorize an influencer. You either have like an influencer or a micro influencer, but an influencer can be anyone who has influence on a group of people. The most common way that we recognize that is by a high follower count. But if somebody really is resonating with, again, staying with the same example, young moms or, business people in your community, that can be an influencer too. It's anyone who is providing recommendations and engaging with their followers, and their followers are listening to them and engaging back.
Yeah, so an influencer is someone who has access to a large group of people. It could be, the head of the Chamber of Commerce. It could be the blogger that writes about, being a new mom. It could be, the political guy who's always, has a group about, the plantation commissioners, but they have a platform, they have people who follow them for their ideas. And so they are influencers. Yeah, and they interact, and whoever follow them, they trust what they say. So they are influencers. How do I know which social media channel would be best for my business?
So I always recommend that a good place to start is Facebook, because it is the most broadly used. But again, it goes back to the importance of figuring out who your target audience is. Where are they interacting? So if you're mostly targeting business people, then LinkedIn would be a great place to start, because that's where the business community really is. And it kind of goes from there. So look at who's using those platforms and if they fit your target, and then that way you can build a social media strategy around that.
Going back one more about influencers. I just remember a case. We had a client who he is in an area with a lot of business. It's a central business district. So and he was selling, I can't remember if it was like specialty cookies. It was a great product, right? So one strategy that we developed with him was, go talk to the the HR department of, the company next, on the second floor, third floor, next to you, and, try to have this type of agreement where, the best, whoever is the employee of the month, he will get free cookies, a box of free cookies from you. So all the employees will know, will get to try your cookies. They will see, the business next door donated these cookies. So you start creating that goodwill, but also you're getting kind of a positive bond So that type of creativity,
People
right?
think
So
of your business the next time they want a cookie.
exactly, they're going to think of your business. So that type of creativity is, relationships, creating new relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, with, the HR, the Human Resources Department, the company next door. So these moments really call for, coming up with these ideas that maybe we never thought about before. Okay, we have another question. Can you track how many individuals have shared your Facebook with their friends and how many friends they share it with, successfully with their friends?
So not necessarily your personal Facebook page, but you can track how many people have shared a group. Have shared a post. So that's something that you can track. But mostly the way to track that would be to see how many new viewers you have on your page. You can see how many people are looking at your page, as well as tracking new followers, because that's what I would count as a successful share of your page.
Okay. How do you know why the posts I'm doing are not getting any response, although positive comments?
So that could be a case of just needing to adjust your strategy. So maybe the times that you're posting aren't working well for your target audience, or even, the content isn't what they're looking for. It can be, they're responding to it positively, but it's not resonating with them. So a good thing to do in that case would be to look at if what you're posting is 100% self-promotional, or if you're also providing value through curated content as well. It honestly just takes some trial and error, tweaking what you're doing. And this is a great way to bring hashtags into the conversation. So, use hashtags, and if you're using them, adjust them and keep tweaking that until you find your sweet spot, where all of those things are working together well to increase your engagement.
Excellent. Well, we answered pretty much all the questions. We went over 10 minutes. I know we said it was going to be a 30-minute webinar, but we really appreciate all your great questions. We are here to help. What we're going to do next is we're going to edit down a little bit this recording and send the link to all of you so you can have the presentation with you. You can go back and forth, review what Courtney explained. And if you have any question, you need any additional, clarifications, just shoot us an email. We'll be very happy to provide, answers. And stay tuned, because we're going to have another webinar pretty soon about, Courtney, I know there's a lot of things that you wanted to talk at this time, but we said, no, we're not going to have enough time. So
yeah, there's, plenty of webinar opportunities in the future to do, more in-depth looks at ad creation, boosting, things like that. So definitely keep an eye, and we'll keep you guys informed on what we have coming soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.